Say hello to the big, beautiful world. It's 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair with the Morning Buzz Fall Edition, Tuesday edition, 2021 edition. Am I missing anything else?
Yeah, I think you got it.
Okay, cool. And I didn't mess it up this time, so that's another bonus point for me. Anyway, welcome back. We got the Tuesday crew back here. I am your host, as always, Kyle Pepitone, joined with my co-host, Jacob Goetz, our newscaster, Ali Aurario, and our sportscaster coming in from Zoom, Campbell Donovan. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today?
Wonderful.
Love to hear it. Jake?
I guess I'm doing all right.
All right, I'll take it. Campbell?
I'm doing great, Kyle.
Love to hear it. We got a show for you today. We got interviews out the wazoo. We got, of course, our news stories. But before all that, Ali, take it away with the newscast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ali Aurario, and on this wonderful Tuesday, I'm coming at you from WMSC 90.3 in Upper Montclair. To begin with some national news, on Monday, the United States was faced with the death of 84-year-old Colin Powell. Powell served as a Secretary of State during the presidency of George W. Bush and was the first African-American to serve as Secretary of State. Unfortunately, Powell passed away from complications due to COVID-19. Although he was fully vaccinated, Powell was immunocompromised and has been in poor health since 2003, battling prostate cancer, myeloma, and Parkinson's disease. My thoughts go out to him and his family during this difficult time. Now, segueing into some statewide news, the Johnson Park Animal Haven in Middlesex County is scheduled to close indefinitely. On Monday, the Middlesex County Board of Commissioners announced that the park will be closing and the animals will be relocated to other facilities. In part, this decision was made due to the aftermath of the Hurricane Ida and the increased flooding of the Raritan River. Although it's an unfortunate decision, it was made out of the benefit of the animals and their well-being. Lastly, for some more lighthearted Montclair State University news, this Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m., the college will be holding spooky bingo in the Student Center ballrooms. Students are encouraged to wear costumes and get into the Halloween spirit. There will be prizes given out to the winners as well as for the best costume. You don't want to miss playing spooky bingo. Now for the weather, on this beautiful but chilly Tuesday, we are looking at a high of 69 degrees and a low of 43 degrees. Currently, it is a chilly 46 degrees and the air quality is good. Today will be mainly sunny with only a 2% chance of precipitation. Thank you, and back to you, Kyle.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And throwing it right over to Campbell for our sportscast. Campbell, what is going on in the world of sports?
Well, Kyle, there's a lot going on. But good morning, everyone. Now time for today's sportscast for the Tuesday edition of the Morning Buzz here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, the voice of Montclair State University. Postseason baseball, well, Fenway will be singing Sweet Caroline. 4 home runs sounds so good for the Red Sox as they accounted for 4 round trippers that started on a Kyle Schwarber grand slam that pushed a 6-0 Sox lead. Boston routed the Houston Astros 12-3. It took a 2-1 series lead in the ALCS. Game 4 tonight with Zach Greinke and Nick Pivetta on the mound for both teams. The NLCS shifts to LA as the Dodgers look to get a game back from the Atlanta Braves in Game 3 tonight. The NHL, Rangers winning overtime against the Maple Leafs 2-1 on a winner from Artemi Panarin. The Breadman puts one home as a chaotic 2.5 minutes of overtime where they saw a bunch of action on both sides. The Islanders are in Chicago tonight to face the Blackhawks on ESPN, and the Devils take on the newly named Seattle Kraken, the 32nd franchise in the league. Also, big news surrounding the NHL. Sharks forward Evander Kane has been suspended 21 games for submitting a fake COVID vaccination card. He will not be allowed to play those 21 games, but will be eligible to be back on November 30th against the Devils. Monday Night Football, a crazy ending. The Titans get a 4th and goal stop to beat the Buffalo Bills 34-31. Derrick Henry had 143 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, including a nasty stiff arm. Josh Allen had 353 passing yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick in a loss for the Bills. And on this day in sports of 2013, the Red Sox win the American League pennant, defeating the Detroit Tigers 4-2. A Shane Victorino Grand Slam sent Fenway into a chaotic party scene. The Red Sox went on to win the 2013 World Series in 6 games against the Cardinals, as they preserved a win for the city of Boston during the time where the Boston Marathon bombing affected the entire city. I'm Campbell Diamond. This has been your morning sportscast on the Morning Buzz Tuesday edition. Back to you, Kyle.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And moving into our main stories, as Allie mentioned earlier in her newscast, Colin Powell dies, the trailblazing general stained by Iraq. According to AP News on Monday, Colin Powell, the trailblazer soldier and former Secretary of State, died of COVID-19 complications. He was 84. Powell spent 35 years in the Army and eventually rose to become the first Black chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. He then joined President George W. Bush's administration in 2001 as Secretary of State, the first Black person to represent the U.S. government on the world stage. Powell's tenure. According to his family, Powell was fully vaccinated against the coronavirus, but he faced several pre-existing ailments, including Parkinson's disease. In Washington, where partisan divisions run deep, Democrats and Republicans recalled Powell fondly. Flags were ordered to be lowered at government buildings, including the White House, the Pentagon, and State Department. That's very unfortunate to hear, especially since he was completely vaccinated, and, he still lost the battle because of the pre-existing ailments, which from the beginning we knew were more susceptible to the virus than other people.
Yeah, it is kind of shocking to see how if those things are there, the vaccine really can.
I mean, it can help a little bit. Like he probably, I don't know the full story of like how bad he was affected, like how bad his symptoms were, but based on other stories from people who have gotten COVID despite being fully vaccinated, they probably weren't as severe as they would have been had he not been vaccinated. And also the ghost of our producer Kenny also informed us that he was treated at the same place Trump was when the former president was inflicted with coronavirus about, I believe, a year ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. About a year ago this month, we got news that Trump had the coronavirus right before the election too, which was scary to say in a sense, because that is one entire candidate who was possibly out of the running for good had he not recovered as quickly as he did. And even with that best help, unfortunately, Colin Powell was unable to win his fight against the coronavirus, which is very unfortunate. But speaking of coronavirus news, Jake, you have some news for us, correct?
Why, yes, I have a nice new thing of news, right? Just for you. I got it just for you, Kyle.
Thank you.
So why COVID boosters weren't tweaked to better match variants. So according to AP News, more COVID booster shots may be on the way, maybe, but they're not updated to better match the extra contagious Delta variant. They're just kind of an extra dose. This has some experts wondering if the booster campaign is a bit of a missed opportunity to kind of target Delta and what's likely to descend from it. Dr. Cody Messner, I hope I got that right, of Tufts Medical Center said, quote, don't we want to match the new strains that are most likely to circulate as closely as possible? There's an answer to this, however. The FDA last month approved extra doses of Pfizer's original recipe after study shows that it works well enough against Delta. But Pfizer and Moderna are hedging their bets. They're already testing experimental doses, customized Delta and another variant, learning how to rapidly tweak the formula in case a change eventually is needed. That's good to hear, kind of. Well, I sort of. I don't.
Some of it is. Some of it.
Yeah,
not so
it's like, okay, cool, nice. They're working on it.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, a few weeks ago. We were talking about like this whole booster thing, and the fact that they're just kind of being given out as is without modifications to combat the Delta variant specifically, to me, seems like a waste. Because yes, the Pfizer has shown to work well against the Delta as is, and Pfizer and Moderna are also working on experimental doses of the vaccine to combat Delta, but giving these booster shots as they are to people who have already received 2 doses and are at the moment considered fully vaccinated, while there's many other places in the world that are still struggling to have even steady vaccination rates, seems like a major waste of resources.
I guess it could be interpreted that way.
Yeah, because yes, the Pfizer works against Delta to an extent, but why not make it work against Delta a little more before just suddenly mass giving them out?
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like so many people also aren't vaccinated that, like, we should be kind of trying to get them vaccinated.
Right.
And I know now with the death of Colin Powell, a lot of people are using that as an example not to get vaccinated. But it's so frustrating because I feel like, it's necessary. It stops the spread. Vaccinations aren't proven to really stop a disease from entering you and, like, being prevalent, but it's just to lessen the symptoms for you. It's to hopefully prevent spreading it to an extent.
Well, yeah, but vaccines are like a big thing about vaccines is to build up your immunity to the disease. And I guess you're right, but to an extent, a main purpose of the vaccine is so you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying you're wrong. You have, like, your reasoning is sound, but, like, I don't know how to say it in a way that doesn't make me sound like not a horrible person, but like mean, like going directly after you. But like a big thing about vaccines is like you're not supposed to get the disease. That's why things like smallpox and stuff and measles aren't big anymore, because they're vaccines that prevented people from getting it. And, if they worked, as you're saying, I'm sorry, I'm very much targeting you, and I apologize.
You're good. No, go
if
ahead.
they worked as you're saying, then there would still be measles and stuff, just to a lesser case. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional, so that is just my personal insight based on what I know. So I could very well be wrong, and I'm sorry for attacking you.
Do not apologize. I agree with you. I think the purpose of them is to stop the spread, but also, as we're seeing, people that are vaccinated are getting it. So I think also you have to take into consideration like the extent that people are getting it, in a sense.
Right.
Like, people are getting it significantly less when they are vaccinated. So I just think it's a wise decision.
That is very true.
Yeah. And also that was expected, right? Like
Right.
that was known that was going to be the case.
I mean, yeah, they did come out with this in a year. So there's bound to be some, I don't want to call them flaws, but the vaccine's not going to be perfect against this thing we're still figuring out as we go. So both of you are very much right in that case. And like, as we saw in the numbers, people with the vaccine are going down in numbers of confirmed new cases, hospitalizations, and even deaths. I believe last week we even covered the story that just overall numbers or weekly averages have gone down in terms of new cases and hospitalizations here across the nation, which, say what you will, you can attribute that to anything you want, but that is most likely due because of the vaccinations. It's probably a big thing going on about that. Campbell, anything else to add?
Well, I totally agree with Ali, and the fact that, vaccine or not, we've seen that people could get it, and it's a strain, and for those people who get it and I don't know, it's tough because you see people get it and they either battle through it or they suffer long-term effects of the disease, and people have their sides of what they believe in, and it takes a toll on those people.
Yeah, very true. And you brought up something that's a good point. Long-term effects, like even people who come out of COVID, who defeat it, who are cured, I guess is the best way. In some cases, there's still some long-term effects. There's been several news stories of like, yeah, I had COVID. Yeah, I beat COVID, but now I forget a specific example, but one of them was now I have breathing problems or like lung problems. I remember reading that somewhere. I forget who it was and what the specific long-term effect was, but there are, problems with long-term effects from coronavirus as well, which I believe the vaccines are helping to lessen.
Yeah.
But like you also said, Campbell, there are some people who believe what they believe, whether it be for, against, or just unable because of medical or other reasons out of their control. Unfortunately, that's not all taken into account because some people in New Jersey have lost their jobs because they have not received the vaccine within the time frame that they were given, such as 118 workers from RWJ Barnabas Health who had until Friday to get the vaccine and didn't. A spokeswoman from there said, quote, regrettably, and despite all best efforts, 118 staff members have not complied with the mandate and are no longer employees of RWJ Barnabas Health, per our vaccine mandate policy. 62 of those staff members were per diem employees who worked occasional shifts across our organization, end quote. This isn't the only health organization, obviously, as others have also implemented vaccine mandates for their workers, including Hackensack Meridian Health, University Hospital in Newark, and Virtua Health in South Jersey. Other hospitals have also taken measures to ensure compliance. In early September, University Hospital terminated 5 employees after they were caught submitting counterfeit vaccination cards as proof of immunization. Okay, I want to talk about that last one because it's one thing not to get the vaccine because either personal beliefs, medical reasons, or what have you will, but counterfeit vaccination cards, probably, I feel like that should be like a federal crime or just a crime in general because
that's pretty cringe.
Yeah, I mean,
doing that.
I'll just say, I just mentioned in my newscast about a hockey player who's from Canada submitted a counterfeit card, and the consequences were he's not allowed to play 21 games in the season. And the NHL is going to be very strict on their COVID protocol rule after now suspending this player who made a egregious mistake.
Yeah,
and could have gotten the shot for free.
Well, now he has to pay in more wins than one. But that's the thing, because fake IDs are bad. Those are illegal, and those get caught all the time. What on earth makes anybody think this is not going to be sought after? Like, vaccination. If you haven't been keeping up with the news, the vaccines are a pretty big deal. And it's a pretty big deal that those who are able to and want to get the vaccine.
I'm afraid I have bad news. I am news sick. I can't do news anymore. But
that's fair.
It's great because I could stomach Montclair news. That's what I could do, and we have some of that.
All right.
Okay.
But before we do that, sorry, Jake, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, Jake, we'll hear what you have to say. I apologize. But anyway, stick around for more 90.3 WMSC's Upper Montclairs. We're going to come back and we're going to start our marathon of interviews right after the break. Stay tuned. And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Tuesday morning buzz edition of the fall of 2021. I think I got all the credentials. I'm your host, Kyle Pepitone, co-host Jacob Goetz, newscaster Ali Arario, and sportscaster Campbell Donovan. Jake, I very abruptly cut you off beforehand. I apologize. Please continue.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that later. But it's okay because this story is fun. The Montclair State Dance Team is holding an event called the Mr. Montclair State Dance Team Pageant, where male students around the campus compete for the title. This is the second edition of the annual event, although it was canceled last year due to COVID. And here to speak about it with us is the captain of Eternal Affairs. That's something else. External Affairs at the Montclair State Dance Team, Emily Dechnowski. Thank you, Emily, for coming on the show.
Of course, no problem. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so, as Jake mentioned, this event is relatively new, which means many students might not know what it is. Could you elaborate on what this pageant is a little more?
Sure. So pre-COVID, we did it one time before and it was pretty successful. So we decided to do it again. So we like to find different people from different orgs and have them come and kind of compete in a little contest. So we have a bunch of different categories that they have to compete in. Since it's around Halloween time, we have a Halloween costume. We have spirit wear, so they wear whatever they want to represent their different organizations. We have a talent, so they can do a dance, they can sing. One time we had someone bring in a snake, and it was pretty cool.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what the snake
A
do?
giant snake. It was just around his neck, but it was pretty cool. And then we have trivia, so we give them a bunch of questions about the Montclair State Dance Team history, and they have to study all the questions, and then they're asked a few, and then that's what they get judged on.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
That
tough.
sounds fun.
Yeah, like study, get like a Quizlet together.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what's it look like kind of holding an event like this during COVID? Last year was probably online, right?
We actually didn't end up doing it last year.
Oh, just
just
okay.
because it's hard with like all of us on Zoom. Plus,
Yeah.
we like to perform at our event too, so it just wouldn't have worked out.
Oh yeah, I guess that
but-
makes sense. I kind of forgot
Yeah.
about
but
that.
this year, we do have a certain amount of people that are allowed to come, so we did have to cut that off a little bit. But we do have a lot of representatives from a bunch of different orgs, so it's going to be nice to have a lot of people there because we don't really get a lot of opportunities to work with other orgs, and it's just a good way to show that we appreciate everyone too. So.
Right. Awesome. And how much has this event changed from the first time till now? What have you what's different, obviously with COVID, but also like what you learned from the first time doing it and what are you implementing now? Like what worked, what didn't work?
So the last time we did the event at the same time as another event that was going on. So this year we made sure to check and see what other events were going on campus just to avoid that. Of course, now everyone has to wear masks, so we have to give the contestants a little bit more of a break in between things just to let them like cool down if they have a talent. We're still performing, which is good. And obviously everyone's going to have to social distance in the gym. But other than that, everything is pretty much going to be very similar to the last one.
Nice. And what does the event mean for people who are competing in it? Does it like kind of offer anything like prizes or anything like that?
So the first year we did it, the contestant that won, he ended up doing a halftime routine with us in one of the games. So
Oh,
maybe
wow.
we can offer that up again this year. And we make a sash, we make a crown, and we really like to showcase the winner and just show that they won pretty much.
Aw.
But
Oh, that's really cool.
yeah.
So like going off that, the crown and sash, are they like a whole, like you guys have made them?
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, we made the sash. So there's a bunch of different categories that you can win. So there's like one example is like Mr. Congeniality. That's an award that you can win. And then we usually do like first runner up and then the winner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And as captain of the external affairs,
Yes.
not eternal,
Yeah.
with the dance team, what does your job entail? Not just with this pageant, but overall as well?
So external kind of means that I do most of the in-person duties. So I run the warm-ups in practice. I focus on the dance side of it, and we have another captain who focuses on the behind the scenes, but I mostly just make sure that everyone's putting in extra practice, everyone's coming to practice, everyone's working hard, and yeah, that's basically my job.
Right. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and are there any other events like this that the dance team holds?
We haven't held another event like this. We do have a Red Hawk for a Day clinic that we have, and we have a lot of kids come in. I'm hoping that we're able to do this year. I'm not sure because of COVID, but we have them come in and they're able to perform with us at a game, and it's a pretty cool opportunity. But that's like the only other thing we really do.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
Right. That's really cool. And furthermore, with this pageant coming up tonight,
Yes.
what can we expect from this year's pageant for the contestants, for the audience? Is there anything you can kind of spoil per se of what to expect tonight?
I would expect some pretty cool Halloween costumes, first of all. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We're just gonna make it a lot better this year, a lot bigger. We have a red carpet, which is pretty
Ooh,
cool.
fancy.
We have a place for everyone to take pictures with a nice backdrop. It seems like we have a lot of people coming, so I'm hoping more people will want to join.
Right.
Hopefully there will be a few surprises in our talent portion. We'll get to see sides of people that we probably haven't seen before. And we just hope that the event goes really well. We hope to have a great turnout, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And is there, so are what is it called, signed ups closed for now, or can anyone like join last minute?
Anyone can join last minute. You can also walk in and just come through the door, and it is $5 to enter. So you can also pay at the door too.
Oh, okay. So if you are interested, you can still.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jake.
Maybe.
I mean
that guessing.
Yeah. And before we say goodbye, are there, well, I mean, you mostly gave us most of them, but one question I wanted to ask is in terms of the Halloween costume portion, since like you said, it's very close to Halloween, are there like different categories for that specific section of the Halloween? Like, no,
that's all freestyle, whatever they want to come in with. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see, because we didn't give them any really criteria for it. So should be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So thank you so much for joining us. We wish you luck tonight in this pageant, and we wish all the contestants good luck, because it seems like a fun time. And once again, when and where is this happening for those who are interested?
So it's going to be at the Montclair State Campus Rec, and it starts at 8:00 and ends at 10.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much. Jake, do you have any other questions?
Oh boy, I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I had a great time.
And with that being said, we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to have another interview for you all with Megan Austin. And so stay tuned for that. Welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair Morning Buzz Fall Tuesday 2021. Gonna make that sure I get that every single time. I'm Kyle Pepitone, your host, joined by my co-host Jacob Goetz, our newscaster Ali Arario, and our sportscaster through Zoom, Campbell Donovan. We just finished a interview with Emily Duchnowski about the dance team's male pageant called Mr. Montclair State. I, for one, am pretty interested in what it entails. Jake, what about you?
No, I would be very curious to see. I don't know. It seems like a lot. I didn't know there'd be homework, you know?
All the studying for the trivia questions. Yeah, totally.
Hey, yo, Jake, do you want to hang out with us? Oh, no, sorry, guys. I got to study for the male pageant.
I mean, yeah, it seems pretty fun. Unfortunately, I have class today at that time, which I
Yeah.
know sounds like an excuse of, oh, I'd love to compete, but I can't.
Oh yeah.
But no, I really do have class, and unfortunately it goes to like 9:30. So
Yikes.
I guess my dreams of becoming a male dancer will have to wait another day.
Yeah. Someday you'll get your moment
Yeah.
to shine.
All right, I want to ask you this, Jake. Out
Okay.
of all the radio members, who do you think would do the best?
Oh,
if we had
man.
a male pageant as part of the radio, who do you think would do the best?
I don't think anyone would do particularly well,
Yikes.
but Jared would kill it.
Oh, yeah,
Jared would take that prompt and run with it.
definitely. I think Ben too would also.
Ben would also like probably
Yeah.
like do his best with
He'd do it as a joke. He wouldn't take it too seriously, but he would
I feel like he wouldn't go as far as Jared would.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, there's you, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I think you would do pretty well.
Yeah.
The-
I would put some effort in.
Here's the thing: you, Jared, Nate,
Oh,
Ben,
Nate would do.
you
Nate
would
not
all
do-
kill it at the talent portion.
Aw.
That's for dead sure. Jared, I think I would give awards for best Halloween. He would go all out for the costume. Him
Yeah.
and
probably.
Ben would be a close tie for Halloween. Trivia. Who do you think would do the best there? Because, like you said, that
Ben
requires
knows
a lot of
about history.
right. But this is about the dance team specifically.
Oh, that's true.
So, like you said, it requires a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we can speculate about this after the show. Right now, we have our newscaster, Ali Arario, here with the extended weather forecast.
Hello, everybody. So today it is going to be sunny with a high of 69 degrees and a low of 43 degrees. On Wednesday, it is going to be sunny as well. There's a 3% chance of precipitation. It's going to be a high of 77 degrees, so it's going to warm up, and a low of 52 degrees. On Thursday, it will also be sunny, so we're going to have some sunglasses for the next few days, and it's going to be a high of 76 degrees and a low of 57 degrees. And then Friday, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 53 degrees. Saturday, we are probably going to see some light showers, and it will be a high of 61 degrees and a low of 44 degrees. And then on Sunday, it will be sunny again, and we will have a high of 62 degrees and a low of 44 degrees.
I'm liking some of those numbers. The other ones, not so much. Here's the problem. It is warmer. On most mornings, it is warmer outside than it is in my room, which
Wow.
isn't great. But then again, we're talking about weather, not my room. So I don't know why I brought that up. Anyway, right now we have Emily McCormick here for our segment host for the upcoming show today, Tunes on Tuesday. Emily, what is happening?
Hello there.
Go ahead.
Oh, so sorry. Hello. I'm very excited to be here, first of all, to explain. Since this is my first time here, I wanted to mention that Tunes on Tuesday is a show, obviously on Tuesday, at 2 and 5 p.m., where the music team showcases new singles, local artists, and overall good vibes. And this week we have an interview with Canadian alternative rock band The Dirty Mill, interviewed by the wonderful Anthony Soto. You could learn all about the band during the interview later today, and that is followed by all new music, including a single by that band. Also music by State 5, Holly Call, Gusto, The Wombats, Black Honey, TV Priest, Moth, The Interrupters, and Crumb. And again, that show is at 2 and 5 p.m. on this channel.
Awesome. And as part of the music team, I mean, I have to congratulate myself and the rest of the music team for all the music put in there, because I, for one, know for a fact that I put the State 5 music in there because I am the one who interviewed them. And, you know, it's just cool to see all the new music coming out. And it's such a cool show, too, that gets the music team involved in anything, not just in adding to the adding what music we're listening to, like, hey, this is the new music we found, but also reaching out to those artists and being like, hey, I really like what you're doing. Do you mind being talked to
Yeah.
during the show?
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. I love constantly finding new artists to try to get in contact with, but also just listening to in general. And one of my favorite things is like looking out every week for what people contribute to the playlist.
Yeah.
And I find new artists that I don't know if I would have heard from otherwise.
Yeah, totally. And going off of that, like even bigger bands and stuff, their new music counts.
For
Like,
sure.
yes, we focus a lot on local musicians here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and within
No, they don't. Big musicians are bad. That's my take.
okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
They're
don't
just
you
bad.
like 21 Pilots?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have to talk about that later.
No, I
It's
mean,
fine.
I think
actually
he's
like 21
being
Pilots.
devil's advocate or something right now. But yeah, we also focus a lot on alt rock, but like there are bigger bands within that genre too. Like I've seen bands that I listen to that I didn't know they had new music out. Motionless in White, for one, I saw they had a new single that just completely flew under my radar.
Whoa,
Was it good?
Yeah,
I love it.
I liked it too. I don't know if
Oh,
this means
wow.
a new album for them though. If maybe it's just a single, but you know, new music from them, I always appreciate.
I'm hoping in the long run it means more. Stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of bands and stuff, small, big, what have you will. What else that have just been putting out albums? Because my guess is, my working theory is they've had nothing else to do for the last year and a half but write.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, a band I listen to, Asking Alexandria, has put out 2 full albums last year and this year. And I'm assuming because they had nothing else to do during 2020 but write.
Yeah. No more tour money coming in. You gotta boost those
Yeah.
those Spotify listens. Get every 0.1 cent you
Yeah.
can get.
Obviously not just Spotify. I know that's like the prime example, but you know, it's in a massive all streaming platforms and album sales and stuff like
Maybe
that.
like $5.
Yeah, it's not a lot of the money from that bands get do come in from touring. So it's very hard to like, you know, make, I don't want to say ends meet because I know a lot of them are doing very well.
Oh, well, I mean the big ones are.
The big
but
ones,
that's
yeah.
why they don't matter.
Yes.
You know?
Jeez. So harsh, Jake.
But they're doing fine.
I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from, though. Like, in general, I try more to. I used to listen to a lot of bigger bands. That was the majority of what I listened to. But you know, to be one of few listeners that listens to more of like a local artist or a smaller artist, you make such a bigger impact.
You feel
So-
really cool.
Yes. Having conversations, don't want to be that person.
Oh
but,
yeah.
You know,
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh,
Have
yeah,
you heard
you
of this
listen-
band? Oh yeah.
I bet you've never heard
you
of them.
haven't.
But it's if you don't want to be obnoxious about it, it's pretty cool to introduce people to new bands, because I know they're reasonably big, but one of my favorite bands is called Palais Royale, and I introduced them to like my entire group of friends, and now I have a handful of friends who are absolutely obsessed with them, and you know, we want to go to their next show. And they're in the medium size as far as an audience goes, but I think just getting a handful of people to their next show, I've done my job as a listener.
Right.
Yeah, that's so sick.
And also overall Tunes as a show, not just for the music team, but for our station and the listeners as well. What does this show offer them in taste of music? Like I know you were saying you introduced Palais Royale to a lot of your friends, and
Mhm.
basically this is what Tunes does on a much larger scale,
Yeah.
correct?
Exactly. Whenever they come out with new music that I'm able to put on the show, I definitely throw it on there immediately and hope that it makes it into the playlist. And as long as, you know, you have a handful of people who will do that to the bands that and the artists that they're dedicated to, then I love that we could get the word out there. And you know, that's another reason why I love that I'm able to talk about the show right now, to kind of have more people like pay attention to these amazing artists that should just be more well known, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially that inside crew we had at WMSC who wrote that musical. I think they really should be on that playlist as well.
I would have to agree with that.
I'm kidding, of course, because me and Jake were both on that. And, for those of you who don't know, me and Jake were the main, what is it called? Jake, what would you call us? Players, I guess, in the making of the musical?
I know if I call us that.
Yeah, very true. Jared is like MVP, Jared and Josh.
Yeah, and Kaya Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are just merely pawns.
Yes.
But yeah, Allie Campbell, do you have anything to add? Have you heard of Tunes on Tuesday before right now?
Yes, I have. I guess I'm not one to talk because I'm very much into bigger artists, and I've been trying to kind of expand my music taste, but like I mainly listen to like ABBA, the Beatles, Billy Joel. So like that.
Oh, the indie artist.
It's always like
Yeah.
the bigger names that I kind of listen to, but I love music in general. So I just kind of like exploring things. So I definitely want to check it out. I've heard of it, haven't checked it out yet, but I would love to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good place to get new music from. Like if you're, I don't know how would be possible, but let's say you're a person sick of listening to the current music you have on file. Tunes on Tuesday would be a pretty good place to essentially browse for new music. It's almost like a catalog. And
Wait, I just had like an epiphany.
Yes.
So we're talking about tunes on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
But like today's Tuesday.
Yes.
So like when does this happen?
This would happen today on Tuesday at
Whoa.
2 and 5 p.m.
That's so cool.
on WMSC.
Eastern time?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Yes. So I, for one, am very excited. I actually had my interview with, like I said, State 5 air. Time has become meaningless. So I want to say 2 weeks ago, maybe, might have been last week. I don't know anymore. But yeah, it was such a cool opportunity to interview bands and just people in general. Interviews are so much fun because as part of the buzz, I do that very quite often. And, me and Jake have had got the chance to interview a really cool guy called David Rush. You might remember him. He's coming up later in the show. So not yet. Hold on. We'll get to him later. But just interviews in general are so much fun. And it's not only that, like, you're not the only person getting stuff out of it. Like, yeah, cool, I got to speak to this band. They're getting stuff out of it too. Like, they're being played live on radio.
Yeah, definitely. I think, just getting the word out about an artist is really cool. And to have them interact with like our friends here at the station is really awesome.
Yeah.
And I have yet to do an interview myself, but I'm really looking forward to doing that at some point and getting in contact with some artists that I've really come to love.
Yeah, it's really fun. And a really cool thing. Sorry, I keep bringing it back to me. I feel bad. But another thing about State 5 that I was awesome is this was their first interview ever.
Oh, wow.
As the band. Yeah. So like, not only did I get my foot in the door with them in a sense, but like I also gave them their first interview live on air. So that was a pretty cool experience. Jake, have you interviewed? I'm sure you've interviewed bands, right?
Interviewed a band? No, not really. I haven't really done that for the station just because like I don't know. I've been meaning to get to it. There's definitely bands. I've talked to like people from bands before.
Right.
And I have some contacts, but
I mean, you were working with 54 Ultra during World College Radio Day, correct?
A little bit, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was definitely there for the live performance and stuff. But and I got a chance to speak with them, and I was actually at their concert.
Yeah, I saw that.
Past Saturday.
How was that?
That was awesome. Yeah, there was a lot of good bands. There's also a band from Brooklyn called Passive Aggressive, and another band, I don't know where they're from, Veronica Everett. Oh wait, that's not a band, that's just a person. But like but yeah, no, really, really good stuff all around.
All right. So let me ask the room, since I guess I'm the only one who's interviewed a band so far. If you could interview one band, let's go 2 bands, one small band you like, one big band you like, who would be your top 2 interviews in both categories? Emily, you first?
Oh goodness, I'm first.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're good. I guess I would consider him a medium artist. But there's this artist, his name is Grandson, that I have been absolutely obsessed with his work for years. I think he is just an awesome guy, and he's so passionate about his what he puts in his music and his lyrics and all that stuff. And I would absolutely love to talk with him. I feel like it would be an amazing conversation, even just to be in his presence. I would be so excited. And he's kind of like my go-to answer for this. The other one I'm not so sure, because I could say, a huge band like 21 Pilots. I
Right.
don't know if I could live after being in the same room with the two of them, but I would go out doing what I love if that were the case.
Very true.
Yeah.
Allie, I know you said you don't listen to many small bands, but the one band or artist you would love, or two, you would love to interview above anything else.
So in terms of like a popular artist, 100% Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel. I love his music. I kind of got on the Billy Joel hype during COVID. It was kind of all I mean, obviously I listened to him before then, but like I really just nonstop every single day listened to him. I don't know why. I love his music. I love his voice. I would 100%. That would be like the best day of my life if I could interview him.
Totally.
And then I don't know. In terms of a smaller band, there's a band that I call or that I like. It's called Lovejoy. It's not really like super small. It's like medium. That's a good term. They're about a medium band, and they produce really good music. It's very catchy, and I would definitely love to interview them.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And Jake Campbell, real quick, do you have any main artists you would like to interview?
Oh man, for a small one, the one I'm thinking about contacting is a band called Awake But Still in Bed. And the big one that I'd be interested, like, I don't know, if I could do a big one, maybe Phoebe Bridgers.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Campbell, to wrap it up, do you have any?
Yeah, I got two, but I don't know if would be considered both. But my first one would definitely be Bruce Springsteen. I would
Yes, of
love to go to a E Street Band concert. Never been. I've always wanted to go, and I would love to interview the boss and just pick his brain on questions and ask him about the reasons behind his songs and how like he's been so successful for almost 40 plus years. And then
Yeah.
the other band I would do, it's a personal favorite of mine. I'm a huge Daughtry fan. I love Daughtry, and I would love to talk to Chris Daughtry and his band members, and talk about like his like journey, because he came from American Idol,
Right.
and he started his own band after his elimination, and he's been so successful. And I think he like successful wise, and his music has been so under the radar and so underrated.
Very true.
Decade and a half, and his voice is just amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And if you are interested, there are many different places you can hear these artists that we all just mentioned. I'm not allowed to promote anyone, so this was a failed segue. Anyway, according to Apple.com, Apple introduces the new Apple Music Voice Plan. On Monday, Apple announced the Apple Music Voice Plan, which is a new subscription tier for Apple Music designed around the power of Siri. The Apple Music Voice Plan, which I'm just going to call the AMVP because that's way too long to say, offers subscribers access to a service catalogs of over 90 million songs, tens of thousands of playlists, including hundreds of brand new mood and activity playlists, personalized mixes, and genre stations. Vice President of Apple Music, Oliver Schuser, said, quote, Apple Music and Siri are natural partners and already worked seamlessly together, with Siri actively used on hundreds of million devices worldwide. We are thrilled to add this new plan that delivers an effortless music experience just by using your voice and makes Apple Music accessible to even more people around the world, end quote. Apple Music is also adding hundreds of new mood and activity playlists created by Apple Music's editorial experts that are fully optimized just for voice. Subscribers can ask Siri to play the dinner party playlist, play something chill, or even play more like this for a truly personalized music experience. These new playlists are available to every subscriber of any Apple Music plan. Okay, so I'm very confused. Basically, it's just Apple Music compatible with Siri.
It's literally Alexa.
Yeah, that's what
It's-
I was
Okay,
gonna
I'm
say.
just
Hey,
making sure I got
Siri.
that right, because
Yeah.
the more I'm reading it, I'm like, has this not been available already?
Yeah, no, this like hey, this thing you've been able to do since like 2015. It's this new program.
Can you? But no, seriously, can you really not use
I don't know.
Siri
who
on
uses
Apple Music
Music?
as is?
I'm not an Apple Music user, so I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Nor am I, which is why I was very confused about this. So that's very interesting. I didn't know that Siri was not readily available with streaming music, specifically with Apple Music.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, Spotify, I can understand why it's not a thing because they're not associated with Apple per se. They're a third party company, technically. So they would need access from or approval from Apple to access Siri to connect with the voice of Spotify.
I have
Which-
a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you think anyone actually uses Siri?
No.
Yeah, like I don't.
I only use Siri to like call somebody.
useless.
I'm sorry, but like I don't know. I can't think of any reason.
I don't use it too often. I literally use it like every once in a while. I'd be like, hey, hey, call mom, because I'm too lazy to type in the number. So that's the only reason I use it. I never use it I don't go from across the room. Hey Siri, play music. Oh goodness, she
Oh,
just
and it
went on.
worked.
She just went on. Oops. But yeah, I don't do that. I just go in to the app of my choice.
Yeah, we have
And
fingers.
Play it because it's not that hard, especially with the widgets. It's literally right on the dashboard.
Yeah.
So it's not
Kyle,
any.
I have a theory. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Uh,
I'm going off the rails anyway.
This new Apple Music voice plan. Imagine if maybe you would ask Siri, maybe, or like the Apple Music thing itself, maybe just like for Allie's instance, since she's a Billy Joel fan, and maybe play Miami 2017, which is literally one of my personal favorite songs.
Yes, very good song.
It's literally the opening lyric is just iconic. But I think it'd be cool, like if that like new like app thing for, I guess it's an app, like
Yeah,
for Apple Music, the new way how to like observe it, I guess, like use. I think voice recognition would be so cool. Like just like think of a lyric and like put it and like speak it out, and then they goes to the song, I guess.
I guess
That'd be-
like I said, I thought you could already do this.
Yeah.
Here, Jay, here, we're gonna try it right now. Play Billy Joel. And
Do you have an Apple Music?
I do. I have both, but so my Siri automatically defaults it to Spotify, and there it is. Okay.
Oh, so Siri and Spotify are linked then.
It is,
Interesting.
but I thought it was a just like standard thing that came with the music streaming because
Mhm.
it was common sense.
Yeah.
Apparently not. So that's all I have to take away from this, that either this was a thing and Apple now just put a price tag on it, or nobody at Apple ever thought about this until now. Those are my two working theories.
Apple ran out of ideas so many years ago.
I mean, yes, very much so. I'm looking at the new iPhone. I don't see a difference at all.
No, not at all.
And now I'm no tech wizard, but I can read and I know when sentences are the exact same, and putting two phones side by side, it's a lot of copy and paste. In my opinion, of course, Apple can do whatever they want to. I haven't made a phone in my life,
Yeah.
so
Imagine making a phone. That must be a lot.
yeah, I guess. And then imagine just moving that phone into a slightly bigger case and calling it brand new and charging a fortune for it.
No,
Anyway, before this spirals out of control, we're going to take another short break, and we're going to come back with hour 2 of the Morning Buzz And that's when we get into the fun stories. And like I said, a very fun interview me and Jake got to do with David Rush, a holder of over 200 world records in the name of STEM. Stay tuned for that. Indeed, this is the Morning Buzz on Tuesday in the fall of 2021. It is October 19th here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And I don't think I scared anyone this time with the Weird Al liner. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone had their headphones on to catch it. And thankfully so, because they seem to be running a little loud today. And I don't want to be responsible for any hearing loss. Anyway, I am your host, Kyle Pepitone. Co-host Jacob Goetz, newscaster Ali Arario, sportscaster Campbell Donovan. We are into the second hour of the Morning Buzz. We got all the fun stories, and like I keep teasing because I'm so excited for it, the interview with David Rush coming up soon. But before any of that, Ali, newscaster, what's going on today?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to hour 2 of the Morning Buzz on Tuesday. My name is Ali Arario, and on this Tuesday, I'm coming at you from WMSC 90.3 in Upper Montclair. To begin with some national news, on Monday, the United States was faced with the death of 84-year-old Colin Powell. Powell served as Secretary of State during the presidency of George W. Bush and was the first African-American to serve as Secretary of State. Unfortunately, Powell passed away from complications due to COVID-19. Although he was fully vaccinated, Powell was immunocompromised and has been in poor health since 2003, battling prostate cancer, myeloma, and Parkinson's disease. My thoughts go out to him and his family during this very difficult time. Now, segueing into some statewide news, the Johnson Park Animal Haven in Middlesex County is scheduled to close indefinitely. On Monday, the Middlesex County Board of Commissioners announced that the park will be closing and the animals will be located to other facilities. In part, this decision was made due to the aftermath of Hurricane Ida and the increased flooding of the Raritan River. Although it is an unfortunate decision, it was made out of the benefit of the animals and their well-being. Lastly, for some more lighthearted Montclair State University news, this Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m., the college will be holding spooky bingo in the Student Center ballrooms. Students are encouraged to wear costumes and to get into the Halloween spirit. There will be prizes given out to the winners as well as the best costume. You don't want to miss playing spooky bingo. Now on to the weather. On this beautiful but chilly Tuesday, we are looking at a high of 69 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Currently, it is a chilly 46 and the air quality is good. Today will be mainly sunny with only a 2% chance of precipitation. Thank you, and back to you, Kyle.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have Campbell Donovan over Zoom with the Sportscast. Campbell, the world of sports, please fill us in.
Thank you, Kyle. Now time for hour 2 here on the Morning Buzz Tuesday edition in the fall semester. That's a lot. So now time for your morning sportscast here on the Buzz. Postseason baseball. Well, I hope we have Neil Diamond in our system because Sweet Caroline, good times never seemed so good for the Boston Red Sox last night. 4 round trippers, including a Kyle Schwarber missile that went into the right field inside pesky pole that took a Red Sox lead from 2-0 to 6-0. You know, the Sox routed the Houston Astros 12-3, took a 2-1 series lead in the ALCS. Game 4 tonight, Greinke and Pivetta on the mound. National League Championship Series goes to Chez Ravine at Dodger Stadium as the Dodgers look to get a game back from the Atlanta Braves in Game 3. NHL Rangers win in overtime. Breadman does it all in the 2-1 victory up in Toronto. Devils play the Kraken tonight, and the Islanders are in Chicago. That game will be on ESPN. As I mentioned earlier, Sharks forward Evander Kane will be suspended 21 games for submitting a fake COVID vaccination card. No bueno for the Canadian-born winner. He will not be able to play until November 30th against the New Jersey Devils. Monday Night Football, a wild one last night as the Titans got a 4th and goal stop to beat the Bills 34-31. The King Derrick Henry had 143 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. And the fast throwing arm of Josh Allen had 553 throwing yards and 3 touchdowns and a pick in the loss for the Bills. If you're on campus tonight, Montclair State volleyball is rolling, and they will take on Misericordia University tonight at 7 o'clock at Pageant Athletic Center. So students and faculty and or friends and family of these athletes come and watch some good volleyball. And on this day in sports 2013, the Sox won the pennant, defeating the Detroit Tigers 4-2, Game 6. Shane Victorino with a wicked grand slam over the monster that sent Fenway into. I could put a lot of adjectives into that one, but I would just say chaotic as one of them. And they would go on to beat the St. Louis Cardinals in 6 games and preserve a win to please the Fenway crowd and the state of Massachusetts as the city of Boston went through the horrible Boston Marathon bombing. I'm Campbell Donovan. This has been your morning sportscast here, 90.3 WMC Upper Montclair, the voice of Montclair State University, on the Tuesday edition of the Fall Morning Buzz. Back to you, Kyle.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Campbell. And we have something special for you right now. You mentioned earlier that you'd love to interview Bruce Springsteen, and unfortunately, we couldn't get him on the show for you.
But we're working on it.
No, but well, I mean, yes, we are. But we do have some Springsteen related news. So according to NJ.com, Bruce Springsteen hints at a 2022 tour and assures the E Street Band will be at its peak. Yeah, sorry. That was all a joke.
Was a joke.
I'm sorry.
We're memeing.
I'm sorry, Campbell. But he did. We're not joking about Bruce Springsteen. Hinting at a tour and assuring the E Street Band will be at its peak. Bruce Springsteen sounds like he's ready to get back on the road. Sunday night, he was at Asbury Lanes in Asbury Park.
Yeah.
Sunday, interviewing E Street bandmate Steve Van Zandt for a star-studded benefit supporting the Van Zandt's Teach Rock Educational Foundation. Springsteen said during the talk, quote, "We'll be out there in the world again next year. I hope, and I guarantee, if you bring your children and younger brothers and sisters, or grandma for that matter, they're going to see the band at its peak," end quote. This matches what Springsteen said last year, hoping the band could tour in 22. An E Street Band tour has not happened properly since a trio of performances at MetLife Stadium in 2016. Since then, Bruce Springsteen has starred on Broadway, released a solo album, 2019's Western Stars, and a full band recorded album in 2020's Letter to You. That's fun.
Yay.
And this is something we're seeing with a lot of bands now. Like, hey, we've been out of practice. I don't want to say out of practice, but we've been, for lack of a better word, holed up for a year because of COVID. Thank you very much. That was sarcastic. And a lot of them are getting out there now. They're like, hey, we're ready to go back on the road. There's some bands who've done it already. For example, Shinedown, who I saw recently, they're touring again. They just wrapped up one, and I believe they're starting another. Ice Nine is another band I listen to. Haven't gotten the chance to see them yet, but they're also on tour. I'm sure, Jake, some of your bands like 21 Pilots, I believe, is also on tour, correct?
I guess. I don't know if I call 21 Pilots one of my bands.
Well, obviously you don't have any agency, you don't own them, but I meant like music you enjoy.
Yeah, I'm the co-owner of 21 Pilots. No, I'm not.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, Campo, have anything to say? Have you seen him in concert? Have any of you seen Bruce in concert?
No, never.
And honestly,
I really just want to go, and I know a bunch of his songs. I've grown up listening to Bruce in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, just listening to YouTube videos when YouTube videos were a thing before stream. And his music has been very influential in my life. I can ramble off probably 15 songs right now, but I can't do that to save time. And I know, but it's find the right words to talk about Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. I think would be influential because they were a small band from New Jersey, from the Jersey Shore on E Street in Asbury Park, and he's grown this band into a phenomena for over 30 plus years. And he is so famous through many generations before us.
Yeah.
And he still has a big impact on those people that he had on when he started.
Yeah, totally. I 100% agree. Like, he's been a major player in not just like rock and roll, but like music for, like you said, almost over 40 years. And although I've only seen him play live once, I believe, I was talking to my dad about it. Apparently, he's seen Bruce in concert like upwards of 40 times,
Oh wow.
which I
Wow.
cannot fathom, because that's a lot of times. And I guess it's much easier to understand it for somebody who's been playing 40 years of touring rather than 10, like some of the bands that I know. But still, 40 times is
Yeah, like,
insane.
There are other bands, homie. Like,
I mean, yeah, but that is hands down my father's, and I believe my mother's favorite artist. And, just why would you not go see him whenever you can if you love him?
yeah.
I love his music that much. And according to the ghost of our producer, Kenny, he being Kenny, knows a guy who saw Queen over 100 times. And I just have two questions. How and why?
Was it Brian Adams?
What?
I don't know. Like, was it like a member or like something?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm from the comment Kenny has given us. I'm assuming that means Queen in concert,
Yeah.
because I can easily say, not concert related. I've seen Jake 100 times,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Actually, have we known each other long enough to constitute
Yeah,
100
probably
meetups?
not 100 times.
Close to it, though. Maybe. I mean, yeah. So
Too much money.
we got confirmation from Kenny. Yes, they do mean in concert, and he gave us the question: how much money do you think he gave directly to Freddie Mercury? I'm gonna guess a lot. That's gonna be my estimate. Jake, what do you think?
Oh man. I don't know. Maybe enough to fund an entire Darth Vader costume.
Odd way of measuring money, but okay. Allie, how much do you think?
I'm gonna go with you on this one and just say a lot because I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Campbell, do you have any estimates of how much money this mysterious person?
My big estimate would probably be $5 million in that range.
Whoa.
Come on.
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
believe if he would give that sort of money, I don't know, but I mean, that's because Queen was so big during that time when Freddie Mercury was still alive, and
Very true.
and I would say in the opinionated guess or hypothesis, probably.
Yeah. I mean, we're also talking about money directly to Freddie Mercury, and I don't think 100% of ticket sales go to him.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
sure-
not how that works.
I'm pretty sure they're split up evenly, unless
Okay.
Mercury was one of those guys who, like, all it'll go to me, you'll get whatever, I don't know, tips we get. Usually people don't tip at concerts, but you get what I'm saying.
You get the merch stuff. No, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
that's not how any artist runs their stuff.
But yeah, no, I mean, a lot, you're in the right range of a lot, but we're not talking about Queen right now. They're not, at least they haven't announced any 2022 tours.
Oh yeah.
Know who has released 2022 tours? Bruce Springsteen.
Wow.
Know what he's going to be doing? He is going to be running across, I'm assuming, the nation, because I don't believe he's going to be playing an entire tour at one location in Jersey, because although he is Jersey born, he's probably has fans across the globe.
But I don't think he'll be dancing in the dark.
Very true, but he will be running. And you know why? Because he was born to run. And with that being said,
I'm leaving.
I'm sorry. I was given specific instructions to transition to the song. Anyway, the song we have right now is Born to Run. And welcome back to the Tuesday morning buzz of fall of 2021. I'm your host, Kyle Pepitone, co-host Jacob Goetz, newscaster Ali Arario, sportscaster Campbell Donovan. He's not actually over there. He's in Zoom. I don't know why I'm pointing to an empty chair. But welcome back, everybody. That was Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen off of the album, well, Born to Run. But moving on, Jake, hit us with our next story.
Yes. So there are these things called cigarettes. As you might have heard, they're not great for you. They're not like, I don't know. They're not super healthy.
From a medical standpoint, they're not recommended.
Yeah, from a looking cool standpoint, we'll leave it. No further comment. But we have a story about it from the Scientific American. In most countries, cardboard cigarette packages display imagery or text that warn smokers of the increased risks of heart attacks, cancer, and pregnancy complications that accompany lighting up. Many of these risks are associated with the inhalation of tobacco smoke through the mouth. But what is less often spotlighted is the effect smoking can have on your eyes. Researchers have discovered how cigarette smoke and aerosis from heated tobacco devices, which bake tobacco leaves rather than burning them or vaporizing liquid tobacco products, also kill eye cells in the eye's most exposed layers, the cornea. A biomedical researcher at the Gifu Pharmaceutical University in Japan said, quote, "This is the most outmost surface of the eye that is exposed to environmental factors like chemical, light, and infection." According to the research, tobacco smokers are twice as likely as non-smokers to suffer from dry eye syndrome, which manifests as dehydrated red and itchy eye surface that could lead to impaired vision, infections, or cornea ulcers. Understanding how cigarettes and heated tobacco devices, which burn or emit aerosols just centimeters away, affect the eye's most exposed tissues could help researchers develop better protections against eye damage. Wow.
I don't like eye-related things. They freak
right.
me out.
No,
but
those were a little tough to read.
Yeah.
A lot of eye.
Terminology.
Do you remember that? Wait, I probably should. Yeah,
okay. But okay, I'm gonna say this. I hate cigarettes. I've always hated like the smell of it. And I don't smoke, obviously, but being around people drives me up a wall. It's right up there with my hatred of peanut butter.
Just being around people?
That too. But like what I meant was being around like in the smelling vicinity of cigarette smoke. And I'm pretty sure my nose is extra sensitive. So not great.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Not like a diagnosed medical standpoint. I just have a very strong sense of smell, I think. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, like I said earlier. But that being said, I always hated cigarette smoke, and there's always obviously was the danger of secondhand smoke. So, that kept me on edge. And cool. Now my eyes can go along with my lungs. Great. And it's not going to be any of it my fault. So that's cool. Thanks, science.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Smoke, like if you've ever been to a campfire, smoke.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Bad. It hurts.
Well, that's the thing. Is it smoke in general, or is it cigarette smoke? Because burning wood is very different from burning a cigarette, in which, there's a lot more chemicals in one than the other. But the ghost of our producer is saying it's just cigarette smoke.
Yeah, because like you said, all the chemicals in the smoke, it's makes it worse.
Yeah. So it's obviously putting your eyes over smoke isn't, or putting your eyes over a campfire isn't recommended. It won't do. If you're smart and responsible, campfire smoke won't do as much damage as cigarette smoke to your eyes.
You put it to the campfire.
Yeah, exactly. And according to our producer, Kenny, when he was 15 years old, he tried to swallow campfire smoke.
I could see the appeal. Like when you're when you're far away, it smells like a barbecue. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him or anything. We were launching a rocket in camp once, like one of those bottle rockets,
Oh God.
and it failed to launch. And so young me, being the genius that I was, right up there with young Sheldon, decided to touch the launch pad right after the rocket failed to launch. And surprise, surprise, I burnt my fingers.
Whoops.
And my reasoning was, well, I touched the white part instead of the burnt part, so it should be cool. It's a wonder how I made it this far in life.
I'm just trying to visualize somebody standing over a campfire trying to like swallow smoke. Like, I don't know.
Just trying to like catch it. Like, oh.
It's the opposite of trying to catch snowflakes with your mouth.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Just another direction.
Yeah.
And a different temperature.
A vastly different temperature, but yes. Oh my, Kenny is just bombarding the chat with
Kenny
things
just loves
he's
fire,
done.
apparently.
So apparently in the same night, according to Kenny, he tried to swallow campfire smoke, accidentally burnt off his eyelashes, and walked through fire.
That's pretty cool. The
All in
walking
one
through
night.
fire part, you must have felt pretty.
I mean, if he successfully walked through fire, then yeah, that's pretty
he's
cool.
still here, so
Yeah. So
that sounds pretty successful to me.
yeah, I'll applaud him on that last one. The other two, can't say I advocate for swallowing smoke.
The no eyebrows look is a look sometimes. And I bet Kenny could rock it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we have to come up with a bet that Kenny will lose and have to shave his eyebrows for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sorry.
And apparently his mom never caught that he didn't have eyelashes. How did we get to this? We were talking about cigarettes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now we're on Kenny's one night adventure through the fire and the flames. But as fun as campfires are, cigarettes, not so much. And as we see here, they can not only hurt your lungs, your life, but also your eyes, and of course, pregnancy complications. I don't see the appeal of cigarettes, period, especially
agree.
in light of this new information. Because obviously, smoke and anything airborne, you cannot keep contained to yourself. So not only are you putting yourself at risk, literally having smoke right here, right below your eyes, you're also putting anyone around you at the same risk. Hence, like I said before, the secondhand smoke and the danger to bystanders, such as myself, which is one of the big reasons why, I don't like the city or stuff, because it's full of that.
Mm-hmm.
And also people. So, but that's what I got to say. Not Kenny, sorry. Jake, Campbell, anything, Allie? Anyone want to play devil's advocate and
I'm
hold up picket
grateful to
signs
people
for
who smoke at concerts, because they just add to the vibe. Like, it's cool. Like, they're, it's like I don't have to, so like someone's got to do it,
I guess, but I would also enjoy it more if I would enjoy a concert more if nobody did. But that might just be me, apparently.
Yeah, just go outside. Oh, well, I guess that's where they do it. Go inside.
I don't like outside. Have you been outside? You don't have any control over the weather, the temperature, the people you see.
Oh, man.
There's nothing great about outside, especially with lantern flies now. Like,
oh, lantern flies are like, they're bad for the environment, but they don't bother you.
No, they bother me a lot.
What? Why? Like,
'Cause
what do they do?
They attack you.
What?
And they don't, they'll land on you and they don't budge like regular bugs.
Yeah.
They latch on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just take them off.
Kyle, we went
Yes.
from talking about cigarettes and smoking to weather. Why would we talk about weather when now it's cooler and you're still wearing the jacket and jeans and you claim to be inferior to the weather?
I didn't say that. It's only really heat that I'm imperious. That's not the word. I know what word you're trying to say, and I can't remember what it is. Yeah, I don't know,
I
but
think I was going for like
oh,
not
it's
like inferior or
inferior or impervious, I believe is the word.
yeah.
Impervious to heat. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still pretty affected by cold. Like I said, I wake up every morning and it's like 60 in my dorm, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's just the initial thing of waking up. That's the worst part. But no, I still stand by I'm impervious or less susceptible to heat. But cigarettes, as we have explored, are even worse than you imagined. But on the other hand, we have a band that mostly advocates for smoking, and that would be Motley Crue with their song Smoking in the Boys Room. Nope, Motley Crue does not actually advocate. I was just trying to do a transition. That's actually very true. They are sober. I forgot about that.
Straight edge.
Yeah. Very much so. My apologies. But they did write a song at one point called Smoking in the Boys Room. That part was not a lie. And it's off their album Theater of Pain. And here it is now. And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. I'm your host, Kyle Pepitone, joined with my co-host, Jacob Goetz, newscaster, Ali Arario, and our sportscaster, Campbell Donovan, on the Tuesday morning buzz of fall 2021. Jake, what do you think the world record for most interviews on a 2-hour news show would be?
On a 2-hour news show? Well, I don't know. It'd be hard.
Probably a lot more than the number of ones we got today, correct?
Most likely.
Yeah.
I bet you'd have to do like an interview for every like 15 seconds. They'd have to be really short.
Very true. So unfortunately, we do not hold the world record for most interviews done during a news show between 7 and 9 a.m. But we did get a chance to interview somebody who does hold the world record, not specifically for that, but for 200 plus other things. And that is David Rush. And you might remember this name because we've covered him on the Tuesday Buzz a couple of times. We've covered 2 of the world records he has broken, one being most water transferred between 2 containers with just your hands. And Jake, do you remember what the other one was that we covered? Because he's done a lot.
I remember the hands thing.
I think one of them, I
think the other one I might not have been here for.
That's true. You might not have. It was something related to throwing. I forget what it was. But anyway, me and Jake got the opportunity to interview David Rush. And what's better than covering his world records? Interviewing the man himself who broke these world records. And without further ado, here's the interview with David Rush. Hello, all, and welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. My name is Kyle Pepitone, and I'm joined here with Jacob Goetz. And if you are a frequent listener to the Morning Buzz, you will know that during the last half hour of the show, we cover weird stories, good stories, all that kind of stuff. And a frequent name that pops up has been David Rush, who holds over 200 Guinness World Records. And we've covered these records a couple of times on the show. I know what you've been thinking, but he doesn't break these records just for the sake of breaking them. He does it in the name of STEM education. Here to talk with us today is the man, the myth, and the record breaker, David Rush himself. Welcome to the show, David. How are you today?
Hey, Kyle, Jacob, thanks for having me on. I am doing quite well today.
That's great to hear. And so overall, what is your background in STEM research?
So
or STEM
it's
education as a whole?
STEM education. So I promote science, technology, engineering, and math education. And I've been doing that for over a decade now, using my story of growing up, going through the Idaho public education system, not being super smart when I started, but working hard and making it off to MIT, where I got my electrical engineering degree. And then I've got an MBA. And then for the last years, I've worked at a high-tech startup company called Cradlepoint here in Boise. And from the time I started, we were at 60 people, and now we're 1,000. And some of the hardest positions to recruit are those that require STEM degrees. And I use growth mindset and grit to inspire students to pursue STEM education, because they'll struggle at a math test or fail at science and say, I can never become an engineer. And so I break Guinness World Records as that tangible example that if you set your mind to a goal, believe in yourself, and pursue it with a passion, you can accomplish virtually anything.
And when did you first realize this importance of promoting the STEM education? Like you were saying, where you work, you found it hard to fill places or fill positions that required a STEM degree. Is that when you first realized like this is important?
No, I realized it was important before that. In fact, I got to speak at an education conference. My dad worked in education and said, hey, why don't you come tell your story of, the Idaho public education system and going off to MIT and who helped you and inspired you along the way, things that made you successful, both to encourage the teachers here that they are making a difference in students' lives and to give them inspiration to continue to, encourage and prompt students who might not otherwise pursue a STEM degree to do so. And then the break-in records has been over the last, about 6 years.
Yeah, that's super cool. And something we were kind of wondering about was a big talking point is the kind of inequality between genders in STEM education. And we were wondering how, is that kind of a part of the reason?
That certainly applies. And a lot of it comes down to what you're encouraged at or told to do is how you're shaped when you're a young child, and it happens early. And so you can have either a couple of different mindsets in life. You can either have a fixed mindset where you're born with certain innate abilities and you have to just discover how good you are at those things. Either you take a test, you have somebody tell you, you try it out, and either you're good at that or you're not good at that. And there's a bias in our society right now that girls might not be as good at science or engineering. There's less of them out there. There's not as many in computer science, but actually there's less women in computer science today than there were in the 1970s. There are actually more back then than there are today in terms of proportion.
Wow.
But so there's this bias going on. And so if there's this reinforcement of, there's not that many females in those spaces, maybe you shouldn't pursue it. There's other careers that maybe you're better suited for. And so that bias and the direction just keeps building up over time. But if you get them started early thinking, hey, I can become a scientist, I can become an engineer, just because I'm not good at math doesn't mean I can't become a computer programmer. And there's all sorts of programs that encourage students to get in. In fact, I went to MIT, got my electrical engineering degree there. But frankly, the best thing I got out of MIT was my wife. I met her there. And the reason she got into STEM, she's a mechanical engineer now that works at HP, is because she got involved in FIRST Robotics. It's for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. And they do these robotics competitions and they celebrate robotics, and girls and females are encouraged to participate and do well. And instead of becoming, a yearbook journalist, which she was also phenomenal at, by the way, she decided to become a mechanical engineer. And so I do encourage students from all genders, backgrounds, socioeconomic status. They all have the ability to do this if they approach it with a growth mindset. And that's as opposed to the fixed mindset I already talked about. And that growth mindset is championed by Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck. And in that mindset, basically the idea is you can become better at anything. And there's no hard upper limit to how good you become at something. Just because you fail a math doesn't mean you can't become a math person. Just because you don't understand science doesn't mean you can't become an engineer. And so in this growth mindset, which I'm trying to demonstrate, and I use Guinness World Records as, if you work at it and you believe you can do it and you pursue it with grit, you can literally become better at anything. And I've broken 200 Guinness World Records trying to prove my point.
Right. Wow, that's incredible. Not only obviously the 200 world records, but also the whole growth mindset thing. Like, I would not have put the 2 and 2 together in terms of like a way of thinking can determine what you do in life. And furthermore, that like you are demonstrating that through these world records, because obviously you're not good at all 200 of these things right off the bat. You've had to train for them, correct?
Absolutely. A lot of them I was absolutely horrible at when I started. And when you first start something, you're not good at it. And if somebody sees you in a public setting and you fail, you're like, that's embarrassing. I want to avoid that.
Right.
And so you have a natural tendency to shy away from it. And so there's a lot of people that say, hey, I've struggled at math. So I'm not a math person. I'm up here speaking. I don't do math. I can't understand it. And it's kind of a barrier you place in front of you to say, I don't have to try at being a math person. You just say, I'm not a math person. Or you might say, hey, I don't remember names. Sorry, I'm not going to remember names. But frankly, you can actually become very good at remembering people's names if you practice it, and it is a learned ability. And there's literally, you can learn anything. You can learn how to become a better friend, a better teacher, a better mentor. You can learn how to become better at math. You can learn how to be better conversationalist. I used to be terrible at having conversations. I'm an introvert. But I've practiced the art of having conversations with people and making, having deep connection with people through conversation, through the asking of questions and the like. And there's a big, I think of myself as a hard science guy. It's got to be concrete or I don't believe it. And this whole wishy-washy stuff of, hey, your mindset can change your ability to do something. I'm like,
mindfulness of it.
I'm not sure I believe that just thinking something can change your mind. But if you really think about it, the mind literally is physically part of the brain. It is physically part of your body. And the way you think things and the thought process, the way you think affects your output on life. It affects your optimism or pessimism or your outlook on being able to achieve things. And so, one of the top predictors of success is expanded upon on Angela Duckworth's Grit, where she expands on Carol Dweck's growth mindset. So Grit, the number one predictor of success in virtually any field, whether it be academic, athletic, making money, becoming the best at golf or chess or whatever it is, grit. Grit is that pursuing something with a passion and never giving up. When you face a challenge, you put that setback behind you and you keep working towards your end goal. And that mindset of grit often comes with the thought process that I am going to achieve this goal. It's a positive outlook of this is going to happen. And when you believe something's going to happen, you're far more likely to continue to pursue it. Because if you say, you know what, I'm never going to become the fastest juggler in the world. There's 2,000 jugglers out there, thousands of jugglers, literally that do this professionally. I'm a technology major. How could I ever be arrogant enough to think I could become the fastest juggler in the world? And so when I practiced to become the fastest juggler in the world with that mindset, nothing happened. I didn't get better, didn't even get close. But once I really took to heart this growth mindset, this idea that you can literally become better at anything, something very strange happened when I started practicing for the world's fastest juggling. So I started getting faster. And once I had that positive reinforcement of getting faster while juggling, the current record was 422 catches in a minute. I developed that growth mindset. I practiced deliberately with deliberate practice, getting immediate feedback on how I was doing. And I practiced over weeks and months, and I got faster and faster and faster until finally I juggled 428 catches in a minute, became the world's fastest juggler.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And having that goal kind
happened.
of,
somebody broke my record. They got
500,
502 catches in a minute, crushing mine. But instead of giving up, I again practiced with that growth mindset, deliberate practice, grit. Right. And then I took it back and got 556 catches in a minute, absolutely obliterating the previous record again. Then somebody else got 558. So I went back after it again. And now I currently hold the record with 586 catches in 1 minute. It's almost 10 catches per second when I previously thought that 422 was impossible.
Whoa. So with all this, why break world records to promote STEM research? There's obviously an easier route of just going out and talking about STEM, as you so clearly are able to do. But why do it in this way? What does the Guinness World Record breaking offer towards STEM education that regular lectures do not?
Yeah, so there's a couple. One is it's fun. The challenge of breaking Guinness World Record is fun. I love Guinness World Records. Since I watched the video specials on TV when I was a kid and read through the book, I was like, I would love to break a Guinness World Record. But as a kid, I always thought this was mythical people out there that they had these phenomenal abilities that I would never be able to possess. But as an adult, I'm like, hey, when I turned 30 years old, then I had 0 Guinness World Records. And so it's not like anything physically changed about it. It was purely the mindset. And so I thought, hey, what better way to create a tangible example that if you set your mind to a goal, believe in yourself, pursue it with passion, you can accomplish anything. And kids are excited about Guinness World Records. It captures their attention more than saying, hey, I went through the Idaho public education system. I didn't have private school or private tutoring. I didn't get into the gifted program, but I worked hard and took all these advanced placement courses, which allowed me to go to MIT, which allowed me to get a great high-paying job at a cool tech startup here in Boise. That's fun and all, but it doesn't capture a kid's imagination and get the excitement going like a Guinness World Record does.
Right.
Oh, totally. I remember when I was younger, I had that book, I think it was at my cousin's house, and that was all we did, was look in the record at all the crazy things. And that kind of brings us to the kind of public image of the thing. You're also a keynote speaker. Can you tell us a bit about that and what you do at those talks?
Yeah, so a lot of them are going into schools and conferences to talk to kids about the importance of STEM education, tell them my story, and try to inspire them to become better at whatever they are. They're probably not going to go out and break a Guinness World Record, but they can certainly put in some extra work at math. They can try computer science and see if their programming is something that sticks. Or they can say, hey, you know what, I want to become a better reader. I've always struggled with reading. Or I want to become a better friend because I have trouble making friends. That's something you can become better in. So I want to inspire them to do that. And then I go into, education conferences to talk to teachers about this as well, administrators, and then I'll go into corporations and talk about it to working professionals that can also apply a growth mindset as an adult in a professional setting, because you can get better at virtually anything, even as an adult.
Right. And you also published a book, and a big theme of this book is to realize how much hard work goes into most things in life. You make a point saying that people like you who have over 200 world records and other such accomplishments aren't naturally gifted, but had to have the desire to learn these skills. What is the importance of making it known that the vast majority of people are not just gifted from essentially birth?
It's really important, because there's so many people that, they look at people that have these phenomenal achievements, either in business or personal, or academically, or in some sport, and they're like, hey, those people have skills that are outside of my realm of possibility. And if I looked at somebody 6 years ago that had 200 Guinness World Records, I'd be like, wow, that's impossible to do. But if you take it off in little chunks at a time and set yourself small goals, pursue it over a long period of time, which basically what grit is keep pursuing it. And then I talk a lot about the failures that I faced along the way. And at any point, if I'd given up one of those failures, I wouldn't be where I am today. For example, I wanted to break my first Guinness World Records title. I was going for the fastest half-mile run while juggling, in a sport called joggling, where you juggle and jog at the same time.
Right.
And I was a runner a bit, and I was a juggler, so I was putting the two together. And so I trained for 2 years to break my first Guinness World Records title. I ran 2,000 miles while running and juggling. I did wind sprints, time trials, short runs, long runs. I ran until my legs burned, and my lungs were on fire, and I kept running more because I was going to break the Guinness World Records title. And at the end of 2 years and 2,000 miles, I went on one last run while juggling. And you know what happened? I hurt my knee.
Oh.
And I literally wasn't able to run hard for a year and a half. And I hadn't broken any Guinness World Records. And at that point, I could say, I gave it the college try. I spent 2 years of my life trying to break a Guinness World Record. It's not going to happen. Right. And I could have given up there, and nobody would have blamed me for it. But instead, I decided, I don't want to give up on this goal. Maybe I'll try to pivot to something else. And since I just spent a couple hundred hours doing the basic 3-ball cascade juggling while running, I was like, well, if I stand still, I can do it for even longer. And so in October of 2015, I juggled for 6 minutes and 34 seconds while blindfolded to break my very first Guinness World Records title.
Wow. And so since that being your first one, you have obviously broken a lot more since then. And this is a question we are almost obligated to ask you, and it might be a hard one to answer, but which has been your favorite one to either break or train for to break?
Yeah, so that was my first, and the next one was probably a few months later. And then over the last 3 years, my goal is to break one Guinness World Records title per week on average. And so I've been breaking one a week on average. And my favorite ones are the ones that are the hardest, that take the most time, energy, and effort, the most blood, sweat, and tears. And so there's a few, including the world's fastest juggling, the most juggling catches a minute, because I had to pursue that one for so long. I think my top overall, just the one that just still to my mind is like, did I actually do that? That seems impossible, which was the fastest mile run while juggling blindfolded.
Man, wow.
What?
That feels like it shouldn't be possible. Like the fact that like just doing that, let alone.
It's a record I created and Guinness approved, but they said the minimum mark was 8 minutes and 35 seconds. And so if it takes longer than 8 minutes and 35 seconds, they won't validate it. So I did it, and I did drop the ball about 10 times. And if you drop the ball, you have to take the blindfold off, pick up the ball, go back to where you dropped it, and put the blindfold back on, and start running again. So it eats up a ton of time every time I drop the ball. But I still finished in 7 minutes and 54 seconds.
Wow.
So cool.
That's amazing.
And then there's a couple other really cool ones, like the most apples sliced in a minute, thrown by somebody else while juggling 3 knives.
Oh yeah. I
So
feel like
juggling
it's
3
almost
knives.
like layering the world recordness of it on with each
Yeah.
thing.
So I had my neighbor throwing apples to me from a few meters away. I'm juggling 3 knives. As the apple's coming, I grab one of the knives, slice it out of the air, and continue juggling.
Whoa.
That's incredible. To wrap up, is there anything that you want to say to children who may be listening right now and are interested in STEM?
You know, I just encourage you to not get discouraged if you struggle at math, fail at science. Try computer science, especially this idea of programming, because literally everything in a world that runs on electricity, which is virtually everything you know, has some sort of typing code behind it. This is how the world works. And there's so many jobs in computer science. I want to encourage everybody to take computer science, not necessarily because you're going to become a computer scientist, because not every person that takes English becomes an English major, that takes math becomes a math major. It's just, it's how you understand how the world works. And if it's something you want to pursue, it gives you a head start on some of the best paying professional careers that are available and will be available in the coming years.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on The Buzz and for this interview. Once again, this is David Rush, a STEM educator who has broken over 200 world records in the name of STEM education.
Not there yet.
Soon, though.
All right. And if anybody wants to check out my YouTube channel, David Rush, Record Breaker, you can check out, I'm publishing 1 video a week of a record I've broken. And I've got my website, davidrush4stem.com. It's the number 4stem.com. And then I've got my book, Breaking Records, 21 Lessons from 21 World Record Attempts. If you want to check out some of the tips and things that help me break these 200 world records.
Awesome. Thank you so much once again for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
STEM educator who has broken over 200 world records. And I want to say one more time, thank you so much, David, for joining us for that interview. That was really cool. Probably one of the favorites I've done in my 3 years as part of radio. So thank you once again. And I want to say to everybody here, I saw the video of him juggling the knives and slicing apples. Like that was the first thing I did after the interview. And oh my goodness, it's insane. First of all, crazy dangerous because you're juggling knives.
Yeah,
And
there's
we're
lots
not-
of ways that could go wrong.
Yeah, we're not talking like kitchen knives. These were like, I don't know, probably the size of my forearm.
Wow.
Like
Wait,
half of it
Kyle.
handle, half of it blade. What's up?
So like, really, he was juggling. You would probably say butcher knives and cutting
Not
apples.
even, they were closer to like daggers almost. Like these aren't normal kitchen knives.
That's
These were like
insane.
adventure. Like this is a knife you would see Indiana Jones have.
Like almost kind of like a Bowie knife.
Almost. Like, yeah, pretty Bowie knife would probably be the best way to describe it. It was crazy. And that was my favorite one he broke out of all the ones I've seen. So I'm going to say that. But moving on to our final story today, or one of our final stories, Jake, go ahead.
Oh, yes. So, an Idaho baby has been on 45 flights and makes $1,000 a month as a social media influencer. I have many questions.
I'll keep reading. It gets better.
1-year-old Briggs Darrington has already been on 45 flights and collects a paycheck every month by traveling to places a lot of people can only dream of. The Idaho Falls baby has become a social media influencer as his mother has documented their journey over the past year. His mom said, "When I was researching, I couldn't find a single Instagram account that was baby travel. There was a lot of kid travel and family travel, but nothing specifically for babies. Honestly, I thought at the beginning it was just going to be a fun side hobby and maybe on the off chance we could get a free trip every once in a while. That was my wildest dream. We started traveling and working with tourism boards and brands, and it just grew from there." Her son has over 29,000 followers on Instagram under the username Where Is Briggs, and his TikTok account has over 24,000 followers. She estimates that he makes about $1,000 a month, and while it's not their main source of income, it is some extra money. Damn.
Everything about this story is amazing.
That baby's living his best life.
Yeah.
You better believe it.
Um,
I don't know how I feel that this 1-year-old baby is making more a month than I do,
yeah.
like significantly more.
And also, like, I don't know. That's a lot of work for a baby, you know. To
Uh,
kind of,
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. How's that baby gonna feel when it grows up and it's like,
my thing is the baby's probably not even gonna remember
yeah,
half of these places.
disappointed. Why would you take a baby traveling? They don't know what's
Well,
going
obviously
on.
for the Instagram clout.
I mean,
And I hate that I just said that word, but
Yeah.
whatever. But I think that's like that's what the mom said. Just like, hey, there's no thing for baby travel. Why not do it? My thing is, before you started making money off of this, how do you have? Well, I guess post-COVID, a lot of things regarding airlines are cheaper than they used to be, but still, 45 flights in a year is
That's a lot.
insane.
Must be a lot. That's a lot on a baby's ears,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, probably. And I'm assuming that just means 45 destinations, not 45 there and back. Like a there and back
Yeah.
trip counts as 2, because then it
Wow.
would be an even number 1.
In only like 2 or 3 years. God.
Not even in 1 year. The baby's 1 year
Oh my-
old.
wait.
Yeah.
God.
I've been alive for almost 21 years, and I can guarantee I haven't even been on 45
Yeah,
flights.
that baby's ears are probably gonna be. I don't know. I don't know what that does to you.
Well, so are everybody else's on the plane from the baby crying.
Yeah.
Well, would the baby have like those noise canceling headphones on his head?
Maybe. I didn't see them from the Instagram post I saw, but I will say this: the baby's adorable, very cute baby, and it's a fun idea to document your travels, because there's a lot of accounts out there that bring like a doll or something and they post selfies of it, like, hey, at the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but doing this with a baby is just very cute and stuff. But moving on to I wouldn't exactly call this news cute, but according to apnews.com, rapper formerly known as Kanye West is now just, and I'm hoping I said this right, Ye. It's pronounced.
There's
I've
only one wrong way to say it, and you found it.
No, I was told by our producer it's pronounced Ye, not Ye.
Hey Kenny, is this a joke? Were you memeing on Kyle? Were you, or are you?
I
Kenny, what do you
defended.
have to say about this?
I defended that he calls himself Yeezus, so it would probably be pronounced Ye, but I was told that was wrong, which I can understand
it's
because his
Ye.
name is Kanye. So it would.
Oh wait, unless like I don't know, you know something I don't. I would assume it was Ye.
I maybe it can go either
Because
way.
it was like Jesus, right?
Yeah,
It was-
but his name is Kanye, so you can argue for
but
both of them.
Jesus was a thing, and it was like Ye.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, pronunciation aside, Kanye is now Ye/Ye. A Los Angeles judge on Monday approved his request to legally change his name from Kanye Omari West to just Ye/Ye. Yes, there is no middle or last name. He has called himself Ye/Ye on his social media pages for years. He tweeted in 2018 that he wanted to change, saying, "The being formerly known as Kanye West, I am Ye/Ye." The name was also the title of his 2018 album. He has said in an interview that along with being shortening of his first name, he likes that it is a word used throughout the Bible.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, which is true. But I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. It doesn't really, I was never a big Kanye fan, so that has nothing to do with the story, but
If it makes Kanye feel better, and if it makes him stop,
I mean, hey, he can do what he
doing the
wants.
crazy stuff he does, maybe.
No, I think this is just an addendum to the list of crazy stuff
I don't
he's
know.
done.
I don't mind.
It
This
feels
is
very
fine.
Prince-esque. Like the
Oh,
title,
really?
the title of the article is literally rapper formerly known as Kanye West, which is straight from the book as the artist formerly known as Prince.
That's actually really cool. But yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And the thing about Prince though is he did it as a to get back at his label. Like Kanye has turned his name into still a pronounceable word.
Oh,
Prince turned himself literally into a symbol.
I wonder if this is a similar thing that Kanye is doing, because I know I didn't keep up with this super well, but I definitely remember hearing that there was a problem with
Yeah, maybe.
Universal or whatever.
That is
the
very
label
true.
was.
But that's going to wrap up the show for today. This has been the Tuesday Morning Buzz in the fall of 2021. I have been your host, Kyle Pepitone, with my co-host, Jacob Goetz, our newscaster, Ali Arario, and our sportscaster, Campbell Donovan. And I think I covered all the points here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And coming up next is my show, King's Chaos. And I will see you all then after a short little break. Have a great week.